Hi guys, welcome back to the Storytime Society. Happy Wednesday morning. I have this same little setup on today because I didn't have time to go. I don't even know if they sell the charger that I need for my old MacBook, so I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, I do want to go back to using my mic, but I think I might actually set up the little metal arm thing that makes it go next to your mouth, so that, whoa, I did not need to make that motion. So that I don't have to hold it. And then it might be better because it definitely feels a lot more freeing using this mic because it's I have hands that I can drink my Dunkin', which, reminder, get your drink. Mine is 7-hour-old Dunkin', but that's just how I am. I take a really long time to drink my coffee. I enjoy it throughout the whole entire day because then if I'm done with it, I want another one. So it's better for me to just drink it slowly than to drink 5 coffees in one day. But yeah, it's also so much better to navigate the computer without having something in my hand. So it would be nice if I had the little claw thingy that goes over and just holds the microphone there for me. But yeah, I hope you guys have had a great Wednesday so far. And I don't know what I was gonna say. I forget. But I might look like I have no pants on. It's because I have these little shorts on that literally make it look like I have no pants on. But I couldn't be bothered. I've been unpacking for days now, and although I have unpacked so much stuff, we have all our clothes packed away. We have 5 boxes of clothes. We have way too much clothes. I don't know why, but we haven't been able to unbox all of them. So I'm just wearing whatever is on top of the boxes. And I actually unpacked a lot today, which is really nice because I'm getting everything set up and getting comfortable. Oh, excuse me. But it'll be nice when I get everything set up in this room and I can actually have a nice little podcast studio kind of. That's pretty much what it's going to be, but also my boyfriend works from home on Fridays, so it's his office and then also a guest room. So my mom, her birthday was yesterday, the 22nd of July, and a few weeks ago I surprised her and bought her a ticket because she lives in Arkansas. And we haven't seen each other since Christmas, so I surprised her and I was like, how about I buy you a ticket to come visit? And since we are moving from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, it'll be perfect because last time she visited, she had to sleep in an air mattress in my living room, which obviously isn't ideal. But now we have a 2-bedroom and I want to get this all set up before she comes because I want to have have her have a really nice bedroom and place to stay so she feels like she's at home. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be so fun when she comes because last time I was working in a marketing agency and I was working from 9 to 6:30 sometimes, or even sometimes I had to work from 9 to 10 at night because we would have to go shoot content afterwards at our clients' places. And she was here for 3 weeks though, granted, so obviously I had time to spend with her, but it wasn't as much. And this time she's only going to be here for a week or maybe longer if she wants to extend her ticket. But it'll be nice because then I won't have to, right now I'm just doing this and TikTok. So, and then also my vintage store, which I think I've told you guys about before, but yeah, it's an online little vintage store, but I'm not doing that as much anymore as I used to. But yeah, so I don't really have to work that much 9 to 6. I just do a few hours every day and it'll be really nice because then I'll have time to spend with her and then I'll probably batch episodes before she comes. But I was also thinking maybe filming an episode with her. I think I told you guys that already because she's just a sweet little angel. And I honestly don't feel I don't even know what she would say to these stories. She's so empathetic that I feel she would feel bad no matter the case, no matter what it is. She would just feel bad for whoever was involved because she's just a little angel. But I feel that'd be fun. I'm not really 100% sure if we will do that or not, but we have 2 of these mics and so that would be easy. But yeah, That's really all the updates I have. I'm sweating right now because this room does not get much airflow, but subscribe, like the video, comment obviously because I love chatting with you guys. I feel like today's video, you guys were commenting like so much and I loved it because when I went to check after a few hours, I saw all your comments and I could just respond to all of them and it's really fun. And maybe share the video with a family or a friend, I don't know, that would like these types of videos. And I also did get a little bit of feedback about the true crime episodes, and it seems like some of you would like doing true crime episodes. So I might do like a couple episodes a week, like short maybe episodes of that are dedicated to true crime. I'm not really 100% sure how I'm gonna go about that, but I do really want to do true crime episodes because those are like the most interesting to me. And yeah, slay. Okay, let's get into the video. I'm looking at like comments on my subreddit. Also, the subreddit is linked below if you ever want to join. We have 122 Storytime Society members right now. I love it because it grows like all the time, and I feel like the subreddit growing is just so fun because it's very, very like tight knit right now, and not a lot of people even like really share posts or even comment on the posts at all, but the more and more it grows, like people post here and there on there, and it's really fun to see like your guys' stories. But I think as it grows, obviously there will be more people posting or like cross posting and stuff. Right now it's really just kind of me, but that's okay. I wonder if you guys can hear the TV in the living room. I didn't realize it was so loud, but I didn't feel like turning it off because sometimes I like to feel like I'm like with people. And I was watching Catfish and I just like it to be in the background sometimes, but like I hope you guys can't hear it so much. Okay. Let's read this one first. Sometimes this like doesn't click in though. It's really okay. Here we go. I'm gonna take a little sippity whippity of my Dunkin'. Okay. My husband, 30 male, said he doesn't want kids, specifically with me, 30 female. Has anyone else had a spouse say this? My husband, 30 male, and I, 30 female, recently were talking about how many of our friends having kids. We've been married for almost 8 years, and we've always been excited about having kids of our own. When we talked about us having kids anytime soon, he said he didn't want kids with me. What? I'm so confused. When we talked about having kids, but he just said that he was surprised or happy and excited. I'm confused by that. When we talked about us having kids anytime soon, he said he didn't want kids with me. I thought I misheard and asked what he meant, and he explained the postpartum hormonal personality changes that occur and how much his friends hate living with their spouses now. I agreed. It is difficult and spent some time thinking about how nice being child-free is. Maybe we would discuss this again in a year or two. I brushed off any of this being personal, but some of our friends and family have been asking about when we're having kids. His sister was visiting a few weeks ago and she brought it up, saying their dad had been asking. Before I could say anything, he said we weren't having kids. She asked why, and he said verbatim, I don't want to have kids with her. She and I didn't say anything. And then he went into his hormone personality explanation and how he already has to put up with my personality and doesn't want it to get worse. Having children isn't a relationship breaker for me, but his response is confusing. There are reasons I wouldn't want to have kids with him, but I wouldn't say it to him or his friends and family. And I think we could work through any issues regarding personality or behavior. Has anyone else had a spouse say this? And if so, how have things worked out? Edit. To clarify, we've always discussed having kids. Our most recent conversation about actually having kids was a couple months ago where he suddenly changed his mind. Update. Wow, did not expect this much input. Thank you guys for those who have contributed. To hit some points, yes, I'm the primary breadwinner. His income is a quarter of what I make. No, I don't have any diagnosed issues. Any behavioral or personality issues I was referring to were things like him not helping take care of our dog, irritability when asked to help around the house, etc. I consider myself to be fairly level-headed, and him, to be honest, and I'm sure I have my fair share of blind spots for myself. Yes, this comment was shocking when he stated it the first time. I just shut down, and the second time I was embarrassed and wasn't sure how to bring it up again. Obviously, it's been sitting with me since it was said. When I said I could come up with reasons not to have kids with him, I was referring to things like not splitting household chores evenly, not because I hated him. I've been excited about having kids since I was in high school, and he was excited too up until this last year. Like, we literally have had names picked out for several years, but I've also been enjoying being child-free. That's why I could go either way. It was more how/why he said it that confused me, I suppose. We sat down after work and had a talk. He completely broke down and said he's been spiraling towards a midlife crisis since he turned 30 in February, and he's been taking it out on me because he's frustrated with himself and feels like a failure career-wise. This is all clicking into place because he also dropped a few thousand on a new computer, spontaneous weekend trips, and binge watching / eating / gaming every night and weekend, which is all out of character for him. I'm encouraging him to go to therapy only so this doesn't escalate into a full-blown crisis. Whatever that looks like. I've also asked him to get his attitude / shit together semi by December so we can revisit what our life may or may not look like together, since what he said was incredibly hurtful and has had me doubting so many things about us. Sorry to disappoint with such underwhelming confrontation. Yes, I realize what he said is a major red flag, but also it's really confusing since it seemed to come out of nowhere. Just wish I had confronted it earlier. I really appreciate all who put in comments for a fair. That thought hadn't even crossed my mind and is now on my radar. If that does occur somewhere in this mess, I'll update. Okay. So some of the top comments say how he already has to put up with my personality and doesn't want it to get worse. Does your husband even like you? Maybe it's just me, but this type of comment would flip a switch in my brain and I would be so done. That's because you have self-respect. We got to raise our daughters to love themselves more and raise our sons to not be such arseholes. For sure, but most parents think that babying little Junior isn't going to hurt anyone. I raised my son to respect and value a woman. He married his childhood sweetheart, and they are blessed with 4 beautiful sons. They are raising their boys to respect and value women. That is so true. Seriously, every single post today in here is some woman trying to tell us how great their partner is and then revealing that their partner is a total shit stain. Did their parents fail them? Did society? When did women stop having standards, self-respect, common sense? I sweat this whole subreddit is women who are so desperate to not be single that they literally say yes to the first dude that appears, and they don't actually understand what love or healthy relationships should be. I feel like society brought me up in a way that taught me that I have no value. So much emphasis is placed on women's worth being entirely in their looks, and that message is hammered home in school by the bad behavior of other teenagers. Took me a good few years after school ended to recognize my worth and love myself. I'm not surprised so many women don't have self-esteem and end up in these situations. Yeah, that's honestly crazy to think about because when I was in high school and like middle school especially, I think I started gaining a little bit more confidence when I was in high school, but I still was not like, I was like, honestly, it was so bad when I think back to how ugly I thought I was and how disgusting I thought I was. Like, I genuinely was like, wished so bad every day. Like, I would literally pray every single day that I would stop being like so ugly. Like, why am I so ugly? And it's honestly so sad to think about because I look back at pictures of myself and I'm like, I don't understand what I was seeing back then because I was so cute. I'm like, why were you so like insecure? And I had no like confidence, no self-love. And honestly, like middle school was probably my worst, like the worst 3 years of my life. The worst. Like, I can't even explain. I feel like it's very normal for middle school to be a hard part in a person's life, like growing up, because it's just such an awkward part of your life that it's like, what is even going on? Like, I was in and out of like friendships. Like, I had a huge friend group, and then all of a sudden, like, one of the girls made them all stop being friends with me, and I like genuinely did not even like want to be alive anymore after that because of how hard that was. Like, I literally had all these best friends like that I was super close with for years, and then all of a sudden, like, one of them, who was also my best friend, but for some reason this specific girl did this like so many people. She was so dramatic and such like a drama starter that she would do this kind of thing to people all of the time. And after that, like, we were super close before that, but then after she kind of like, she really made everyone stop being my friend, and then she like would try to be friends with me again. And when I go back into town, like, she will always ask me to. After that, I was like, I really just like never 100% would want to be friends with her ever again because of that whole situation. It was just like such an evil, she was very, very evil, and it was crazy. But throughout high school, we weren't really friends. Like, we were fine, and I was like friendly with her, but I would not like hang out with her like we had previously. And then when I go back into town, because obviously I've told you guys I'm from Iowa and she still lives in my hometown, she will always ask me like to get dinner and stuff, and I'm like, I mean, I'm 26 now, so it's like obviously that was so long ago, but at the same time, things like that serious, that really kind of changed the trajectory of my life, because after that, like, I wasn't really friends with those girls ever again, and like how I was, and it definitely changed like who I became friends with after that. I don't know if that makes sense, but after someone does something so evil, even if it's when we're super young, it's like I can't really ever look at you the same. So I'm just like, no, don't want to go to dinner with you, don't want to grab drinks with you. Like, you literally are a shit person. So but we were friends like on and off, and she was just that type of person that went through friends like crazy. Like, she just cycled through friends. Like, she would be really close with someone, and then she would just like stop hanging out with them and basically treat them like shit after that, and then be super close with a different girl, like best friends forever, and then like keep doing that and just cycling through all these girls, and then like recycling through them, like becoming really close with someone that she previously was best friends with, but then like kicked to the curb because they didn't give her what like she wanted at the time. And yeah, she was evil. So sorry, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, obviously when you're so young, it's like, I'm sure I did some mean stuff to people back then too, and I'm obviously not the same person as I was when I was like 13 years old, but I would be totally fine with someone, like, if I had a falling out with someone that really changed their like perspective on me. Like, I don't expect anyone to fully ever accept or forgive me again if like I really did something that hurtful to someone, you know? Even though I don't even know. I'm sure, like, I feel like when you're young, you just have drama with people for no reason, and girls are very catty, especially when they're younger, so you just really you never know. Okay, this is the next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to date a widow? I met this girl a while ago, and she invited me back to her place. She had pics of a guy all around, and I asked her who he was. He is her dead husband. I didn't ask, but she told me she lost him to a car accident some years ago. I think I made a face or something because she asked me what was wrong. I told her that we should probably stop seeing each other or just be friends. She asked why, and I told her the truth, that I don't want to date a widow. For context, we both talked and said that this could be a serious relationship. We've been exclusive recently too, so it's not like this was meant to be a fling. She said we could talk about this, but I told her there was literally nothing she could do and nothing that I could do. I left. I didn't go into detail with her, but the reason why I don't want to be with a widow is because I feel like she'd rather be with her first husband. The fact that she has pictures of him around, and I'm sure she'd want to talk about him often, would only make it worse, and I won't even dare to ask her to stop or take pictures down. But I know that this would wear on me. I mean, yeah, I guess you're not required to stay with anyone just because, but at the same time, it's like if you really liked her, which it seems like you did because you were exclusive with her and you had talks of being in a serious relationship with her, and the only thing that really is making you not want to be in a relationship with her doesn't even have to do with anything that she can control. Like, it's not like she could control like having like, oh, I'm gonna bring my husband back to life. Like, what? I just, that's like a little bit like weird to me. Is if everything is like going so well in your relationship, are you really gonna let the fact that she's a widow against her will? Like, I'm pretty sure she would love if her husband was still alive, but like he's not. And I mean, I'm sure, yeah, like that would be in the back of your head. I can imagine if I was dating someone and they had previously, their wife had passed away, I'm sure it would be like, oh, like you would think sometimes in the back of your head, like, oh, would we even be together if she was still alive? Probably not. And like, do you love her more than me? But it's like also at the same time, you know, it's such a different situation, and it's really something that you just, I guess some people can't handle it, and that's okay. Like, I definitely would, it would take me a little bit to work through. Not to say that I would be like, I definitely wouldn't be like, ew, I don't want to be with you because you're a widow. But I can imagine it would be hard. But at the same time, it's like, if everything else in that relationship was so good and we clicked so well and we, like, you know, you kind of just know that you have like a great connection with someone, then I wouldn't just end it because of that one reason. But some of the, ow, I just like choked. Some of the, am I the asshole? No. OP, okay. It says a lot of people are thinking that he's not the asshole, but I'm going to read some of the relevant comments. You're not the asshole in the sense that you can exit a relationship for any reason or not at all, whatever you want. If you were at this stage, this should have been something you knew about before going into her home. I think that your reasoning might be a little self-centered, but your feelings are your feelings, and that is just my opinion. I totally understand why you would feel this way, and if it made you unsure about the relationship, then the right move is to cut it off. And then he responded, is that a bad thing though? He responded to her saying, or to this person saying, I think that your reasoning might be a little self-centered. And they said, is that a bad thing though? I empathize with what happened to her and her husband, but I know I couldn't mentally handle being with her, which isn't fair to either of us. And then someone commented, it seems like something she should have mentioned at some point before this, not the asshole. And then they said, I can see why she wouldn't mention it before. I imagine it's kind of hard for her to talk about, so I'm not mad at her for not saying anything before. And then it says OP on his date's emotional attachment to her late husband. I mean, she's had like 10 pictures of him at her place, 3 right next to her bed. He clearly means a lot to her. I know I couldn't ask her to take down the pictures ever. Even if we got married, I wouldn't ask her to do that. But I don't want her to feel like she has to do it either. Like, even if she agreed, I wouldn't want her to do it. But I know that if she kept those pictures as they are, they'd only remind me that she's only with me because she can't be with him. Okay. Here's the update, July 16th. So I had a talk with her. I got lucky because I wouldn't have blamed her if she didn't want to see me again because admittedly, I left pretty abruptly. We met up and after some small talk, she asked why her being a widow was such a big deal to me. By the way, I'm 26 and she's 28. I told her that I don't want to share my partner's heart with anyone, even if they're gone. She was like, oh. She said that it's okay, that we could still have a relationship, and that just because her late husband is in her heart, that she can still love someone else. I told her that I'm just not going to be that someone else, but I'm sure she can find someone. She was disappointed. We hugged it out and said our goodbyes. By the way, just so you all know, I don't think she's a bad person, and I don't think widows/widowers don't deserve love, but there are many conflicting feelings I get when even considering dating a widow. Some of you said, well, once she gets to know you better, you can ask her to take down those photos or something like that. I don't want to force my significant other to bury their feelings, even if they're willing. I'd feel like an asshole if I asked them to do that. Maybe it'll be different when I'm older or in my lifetime if I lose my significant other, but right now I'm just not the kind of person that can be with a widow. Just so you all know, I don't think widows/widowers don't deserve love. Wait, you already said that. I'm just not the kind of person who can be with them. I think he said the same thing twice. Okay, slay. Edit, can't believe I have to say this. I am talking about romantic love, not love towards family, children, friends, etc. And I'm not saying they can't have loved anyone else before. And then some relevant comments say OOP on sharing a person's heart when her late husband was her first love, and his thoughts on the relationships between exes and deceased loved ones. It's different if it's a previous partner though. Now, granted, this may not apply to everyone, but if it's a previous alive partner, I'm assuming if they wanted to be with them, they would. But that's not the case with someone who's gone. A previous alive partner was not a match. A dead previous partner might have been the perfect match. I'm talking romantically, not children, and I'm not talking about memories either. If they broke up and got over them, then they don't romantically love their ex, which really isn't the case for dead spouses. If they're exes, that means the relationship ended because there was no love between them or because they were incompatible. Think of it like this. You can be happy you broke up with someone, or they broke up with you because you found someone better, or because the relationship just wasn't it for you. You can't really be happy that your partner died, even if you find someone else. Yeah, I mean, I get his reasonings, but it is just a little harsh to not really give her a chance. I feel like, that's my opinion, but I don't know. I just feel like it's a little, I guess he really didn't like her that much then, because I feel like for me, if I'm putting myself in a position where if it were my boyfriend now, which I genuinely feel like this, like my boyfriend is, why is my boyfriend's probably calling me as I'm talking about him. I genuinely feel like my boyfriend is my soulmate. So I feel like if that were him, that were a widow, I wouldn't be able to just give it up just because of that, because when we first met, I knew something was very special. So I was very persistent and wanted to continue because I just knew that something was going to be special there. And as we continued to talk, I just felt like something was so special between us. So I feel like if that were him, I'm putting myself in that position with it being him being a widower, I wouldn't just be able to be oh, I can't be with a widower, sorry, I don't want to be with someone who previously was married and had their partner passed away, because I would my feelings would be so involved already. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like that just kind of makes me feel like he didn't really like her that much, because I don't feel like I could have done that with Oh, he's getting a cat tree because we threw ours away from Costco. So he's asking me what color. He's saying gray or tan. He knows the answer. He knows I hate gray. His favorite color is gray, so I know he probably wants the gray one, but I like tan. And he knows that. He's just trying to be silly. He probably wants me to say that I want the gray one, because he definitely wants it. I'm dead. Okay. But yeah, I don't know if I explained that right or not, but I think you know what I mean. I'm not very good with explanations. Okay. So some of the other comments are saying, thank God someone who realizes early on that he can't date a widow. We see so many posts of people who should never have dated a widow/widower, especially ones with kids. What a shit show. Remember the one who threw everything away behind her spouse's back? So many of them try to wipe out their previous spouse's existence and won't let the kids have a picture of their parent. Okay, yeah, when you put it like that, it's like, okay, I understand now. I mean, at least you're getting out before anything gets too serious, because I know that one of the stories we read, I forgot what happened, but it was like a really bad situation, and he would get pissed like every time his wife would talk about her previous partner who had passed away, and it's like you shouldn't have continued a relationship with her then. So in that sense of the matter, I understand. Now that I'm seeing this like perspective and take on it, it definitely it makes sense to me. And honestly, I respect him for that now. See, it just takes some like other people's perspective to really like form my for sure opinion sometimes. Like sometimes I have a initial reaction, and then I read and like it makes it seem more logical when other people kind of explain their perspectives, and then I'm like, you know what, that actually does make sense, because if he knew that he couldn't be in a relationship with a widow/widower, what's the difference? Is one like a female and one a male? I don't know. But if he knew that early on, it's definitely very respectful to end it rather than continue it, knowing in the back of his head that he's not going to be able to deal with it, and then going on too long, and then it's like you hold so much resentment and you like get so angry when this person brings up their late partner when you should have just broken up with them. Okay, some of the comments. I remember one post where a man was married to a widow, and after an argument, he took out her late first husband's ring and smashed it with a hammer in front of her. No, that's terrible. That's actually terrible. That's unbelievable, to be honest. Like, why would you? That's just crazy to me that someone would be that, like, insane. You realize, I mean, you have to know that that is so hard for someone to go through, and it's not their fault. So the fact that you would break something, smash something in front of them that is so precious and so sentimental, that's too much. Guys, I have so much mucus in the back of my throat. I don't know why, but lately I've been having, like, I've already told you guys this, but the past week has been really good. Like, I haven't really been getting mucus in my throat, and then now it's bad again, and I think it might be because of my water intake, because before I think I started drinking more water and it was helping, but now I haven't really been drinking that much water, and my throat is mucusy again, and it's so annoying because I can't, like, swallow it. Aw, precious. Okay. We have another story. All right. Oh gosh, my nose is itchy. My sister told me she was thinking about what it would feel like to punch me in my pregnant belly. Now me and my husband are thinking about not letting her have a relationship with our child. Am I overreacting? Okay. My husband, 31 male, and I, 30 female, are currently 7 months pregnant. We decided to have our baby shower back in our hometown so that our family and friends could make it. We arrived 5 days before the shower in order to spend some time with our families. We usually stay at my parents' house, which consists of my parents and my sister, 28 female. Our families had not seen me in about 6 months, and this would be the first time they saw my pregnant belly. The first day we had arrived, my parents were joyful and excited to spend time with us and finally see me pregnant and showing. My sister showed up after being out with friends later that night, and as soon as she saw me, she looked disgusted. She slowly walked towards me, making a disgusted face and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you look like that." She said hi and proceeded to tell me that on the drive home, she was thinking about how it would feel to punch me in the belly. Deadpan. There was no chuckle after or any sense of it being even remotely a joke. I was in shock and immediately felt unsafe, but tried not to have a visible reaction for my parents' sake. I stood there a couple of minutes while she poked my stomach while making a disgusted look and just felt incredibly uncomfortable and on guard to any sudden movements. I then excused myself and said I was going to sleep. Throughout the following days leading up to the shower, I avoided her and shared what happened with my husband and my parents, who had overheard the conversation but hadn't quite grasped exactly what she said to me. They were all concerned, and my mom spoke to her friend that happens to be a therapist. This therapist friend told my mom that what my sister had said was extremely concerning and needed to be addressed. When my parents addressed it with her, she blamed her anxiety and depression and told them that my husband and I have everything and now we are having a baby and she has nothing to live for. She said all she does is go to work and sleep. For background, she's been going to therapy and on depression and anxiety medication for about 10 years. She has been extremely rude and selfish her entire life. This isn't the first time she says that she has had suicidal thoughts. During my college years, I moved out of my parents' house and she blamed her depression on me leaving the house because I was leaving her behind and threatened my parents with suicidal comments. Throughout the years, she has made my parents feel like I need to be responsible for her mental health and happiness. It's come off to me and other family members like she manipulates my parents into doing everything for her because of her depression. After the baby shower and some long conversations between my husband and I, we are trying to unpack it all. We are considering not allowing her to have any contact with our daughter when she's born. We assume she doesn't even want to make any effort to build a relationship with our child anyway. Are we overreacting? No, you're not overreacting. Okay, there's another update. This is the last update. The next day. So I definitely think I underreacted and have been desensitized to her nasty comments, manipulative actions, rude behavior, and just overall attitude. I'd like to address those, saying that I should have done more in the moment. Yes, I should have. But it's easy to see that when thinking back on it, or when I'm sitting behind a screen reading this situation and what you think you would have done. It's another thing entirely when it's actually happening to you in the moment. For those saying my parents are coddling her, yes, they are. However, I think most parents that are being told by their child that they're suicidal would probably try to keep that from happening any way that they can. I agree that my parents need to seek therapy to help them understand how to better handle her. My sister is an adult and they can't just reach out to her therapist. Her therapy is virtual and they have no contact information for them. Regarding those wondering what she's been diagnosed with, all I know is the anxiety and depression. My husband and I have speculated about her being narcissistic and having personality disorders like borderline, but we don't think that she's been diagnosed, and if she has, she hasn't shared that with us. I also think therapy is what you make of it, and there is no way to know what exactly she shares with her therapist. Like I said, she's an adult, and some of the suggestions in the comments aren't taking that into consideration. For those suggesting that she gets a psych evaluation, how does one go about getting one of those? I mean, without having the cops called or forcing her to go to the hospital and get involuntarily hospitalized. Is there a less traumatic way of requesting a psych evaluation be performed, assuming she'd be willing? For those suggesting that my parents kick her out, they are never going to do that. If she were to ever unalive herself, they would feel completely responsible, as probably any parent would. So whether or not she's manipulating everyone, it's still just a fact that no one is willing to take that risk with their own child. I would also like to point out that even before this incident, my husband and I had already agreed that we would never have her watch my child or be responsible in any way for their care. Since we both agreed that she probably wouldn't want to, and neither of us would feel comfortable with that, we also agreed that we weren't going to stay at my parents' house when we came to town to visit after our kid is born, because it'd just be uncomfortable. Lack of space, they said in parentheses. For those concerned about me still being around her, the baby shower is now done and over with, and we are safely back home, very far away, and there's no way of her being around me. Thank you for all of those who wished me well. Your thoughts are appreciated. For those saying this is a fake post, all I have to say is I wish it was. Why would this be a fake post? I swear they think that about everything. It's like, okay, not everything is fake. Not everything is fake. Sorry, that was aggressive. Top comments, well, you won't ever be able to leave your child alone with the grandparents then, as they would most definitely allow her time, probably unsupervised, with the child. They're so naive, they wouldn't think of it, and your child would be in danger. I'd go low no contact on them until the child is about 15. I don't trust any of them. OP is making some steps right now to go no contact and low contact, but a lot of what OP asked is really telling about how much she does want to not have the sister around. Because as an adult person in a troubled state, you can only be submitted for evaluation and intensive psychological treatments if displaying an extreme manic episode of behavior. OP asked how can she force these things, knowing that in truth she has no ability to at all. She isn't being cavalier or naive. She asked the right questions, knowing that there will be no one able to answer her. So her only option is to cut them off. I have a genuine question. Why does pregnancy make family members lose their goddamn minds? Because change. People can't handle change. In this case, I think OOP said it was because the sister sees OOP's life moving forward while the sister had nothing to live for. It's sad, but I think the sister is really just jealous to see OOP having another life event she'll never have. Yeah, I think she's jealous, but I also think something is very wrong with her and not just depression and anxiety, because I know that depression and anxiety can obviously manifest in different ways with different people, and it's like different extremities of it. But I can tell you that I definitely would never act like that. And I am diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and that's insane to me. Obviously, like I said, I know it's different for everyone, but what? Like, that's just crazy. That sounds like something else. I don't know. Maybe not even like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose, but it sounds like something else is going on. And no normal person would say that. Like, that's just so weird to say, like, ew, I can't believe you look like that. Or like, I want to punch your stomach because you're pregnant. Like, that's just so strange to me. And I would consider, like, before I started getting on medication, I would consider my depression and anxiety pretty severe. Like, at the end of my journey before getting on medication, I was pretty, like, I wouldn't say I was like, I don't know. I know that there's a lot, I've seen very, very bad cases of it, so I can't say that I was like extreme, but I definitely was like not having good thoughts at all, and I was considering a lot of things that I shouldn't be considering, if that makes sense. And yeah, I can't imagine ever saying that to my sister. Like, all my sisters have gotten pregnant and had babies, and never have I ever thought of that in my life, like even close to that. Never have I ever even thought in my head that I would be like, I wonder what would happen if I punched a pregnant woman. Like, I've never even thought of that thought in my head before until I just read this. Like, that's never even crossed my mind. Like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to punch this pregnant girl, let alone like your own sister. That's a little bit crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm literally sweating. Also, since this little mic is on me, I can't see like anything. Like, I can't see if it's for sure. Ooh, I almost stepped on my kitty cat. If it's for sure recording, and I can't see like how long I've been recording for or anything. I have to like actually get up and look, because the little thing that this controls or whatever is blocking the whole screen, so I can barely even see myself. All I can see is my little head right here. But I'm literally about to die of a heat stroke right now. Something needs to happen in here where the airflow is just a little bit better, because it's hot as hell. But I think that's really all the stories. I mean, those are like all the stories I had saved for today, right? Right? Yeah. Except this one, but it's like not, I don't think it's worth it right now to read, honestly. It's not that crazy. I'll save it maybe for another rainy day. It actually is raining right now. It hasn't been raining all day. It was nice for a second when I went grocery shopping, but then it started pouring and my power like flickered on and off, and it was honestly kind of fun. Like, I love when it rains so hard. For some reason, I wouldn't want that to be every day, but for some reason, it just gives me a good vibe, especially because I've been unpacking all day, and it just feels so homey and, like, fun. We love it. Okay, well, I think that's really all that I have for today. I don't really have any other... Whenever I talk to you guys back-to-back days, it's like I don't have much to say because nothing happens within the 12 hours that I see you guys. Like, you guys see me so often. You guys talk to me more than my mom and I talk. Actually, no. My mom and I text like every day from start of the day to finish of the day. So, but we definitely talk more than I talk to an average person in my life. So I hope you feel special. Yeah, okay. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you couldn't see my cooch or anything because these shorts are so short. But I love you guys, and I hope you guys have the best day, or you guys had the best day, depending on when you're watching or listening to this. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Love you.